Imagine Claude as a world-class kitchen with every tool, but no recipes. Skills are those recipes. They turn raw tool access into reliable, repeatable workflows. In this course, you'll learn how to design skills so Claude consistently cooks your best work, not just something that's good once in a while. Now think about MCP as that fully stocked professional kitchen. It connects Claude to your tools and data sources, Linear, Notion, SQL, and whatever other ingredients your systems provide. But a kitchen alone doesn't guarantee a great meal. Skills are the recipes. They capture your workflow, your best practices, and the exact steps Claude should follow to get a reliable outcome. Without skills, users just see a wall of tools and wonder what to do. With skills, Claude can consistently turn those same tools into complete, high-quality workflows and results. A Claude skill is like a well-run kitchen station. Everything has a place and a purpose. At the center is the skill folder itself. Inside it, one file is non-negotiable, SKILL.md. That's where you define what the skill does, when it should run, and the step-by-step instructions Claude will follow. Around that, you can add optional pieces. A scripts directory holds executable code that actually does work. References stores background docs or API guides Claude can consult as needed. And assets can contain templates or example outputs. This simple, predictable structure is what lets Claude reliably load, understand, and execute your skill. Frontmatter is your skills menu line. It tells Claude what this dish is and when to serve it. Start with the name. Keep it kebab case, lowercase, no spaces or underscores, and don't include Claude or Anthropic. Then write the description. It has two jobs. Clearly state what the skill does and give concrete trigger phrases or situations when it should be used. Finally, keep it safe and parsable. No XML angle brackets, no clever markup tricks. Tight, specific front matter is what makes your skill discoverable and reliably auto-triggered. The core design pattern behind skills is progressive disclosure. Think of it like eating at a restaurant. First, Claude always sees the menu in front matter, that brief description telling it what the skill does and when to even consider using it. When a request matches, Claude loads the order in SKILL.md, the concrete workflow, steps, and rules to follow. Only if the task demands more detail does Claude reach for the sides in reference files, API docs, templates, examples. This layering keeps responses efficient and cheap, while still letting your skill contain deep, specialized expertise when it's actually needed. When you design a new skill, always start from a single, concrete use case, like a sprint planning workflow. First, define the trigger in natural language, what the user will actually say. That line is what you'll encode in the skill's description, so Claude knows when to load it. Next, write out the exact steps Claude should follow, in order, including which tools to call and what decisions to make. Finally, specify the result in practical terms. What artifact, update, or outcome should exist when the workflow is complete. Do this for 2 or 3 high-value workflows before you touch any code. When you write instructions for a skill, imagine Claude is a new team member shadowing you. Spell out the workflow as clear, labeled steps. What to do first, what to do next, and what done looks like. Include exact commands, parameters, and any required inputs, not just general advice. Then think through failure modes. What should Claude do if a script crashes, an API times out, or a required value is missing? Finally, point to any bundled docs or scripts the model should consult, instead of inlining every detail in SKILL.md. That keeps the core instructions focused and readable. One powerful pattern is sequential orchestration. It's like a prefix menu. Every course has a set order, and skipping one ruins the experience. In this pattern, your skill walks Claude through a strict series of MCP calls. Create the account, set up payment, create the subscription, then send the welcome email. The value isn't just the steps, it's the guarantees between them. Each step validates that the previous one succeeded, passes along IDs and context, and only then moves forward. Use this when compliance, data integrity, or user experience depends on getting the sequence exactly right every single time. Another pattern is iterative refinement, treating your skill like a recipe you never serve on the first attempt. Start by generating a complete draft report or code review. Don't worry about perfection yet, you just want something representative. Next, critique that draft systematically. Run validation scripts, quality checks, or structured reviews to surface missing sections, bugs, or formatting issues. Then refine only what's broken or weak. Regenerate those specific sections, rerun your checks, and compare. You repeat this loop until the output reliably meets your quality bar. Over time, the checks you add become part of the skill, so every future run benefits automatically. You can also orchestrate work across tools, like running a busy kitchen. Each MCP is a specialist station, and your skill is the head chef calling the shots. A designer finishes a Figma file, and the skill knows to export assets. Next, it hands those off to cloud storage so everything's organized and linkable. Then it creates implementation tasks in Linear, attaching the right assets. Finally, it posts a clean summary in Slack, so the team can start building immediately. No manual glue work needed. When you test a skill, think in 3 buckets. First, triggering. Does it wake up for the right kinds of requests and stay out of the way for everything else? Try your obvious use cases, then paraphrases, then clearly unrelated prompts. Second, functional testing. Once it's running, does the workflow actually succeed? Confirm API calls return valid results. Data is saved where you expect, and real objects, tasks, tickets, documents, are created correctly. Finally, performance. Compare doing the task manually versus with the skill. You're looking for fewer messages, fewer tool calls, lower token usage, and ideally 0 recoverable errors. Tuning a skill is like adjusting seasoning in a recipe. If your skill under-triggers and feels bland, enrich the description with the exact phrases and technical keywords your users actually say, plus any relevant file types or tools. If it over-triggers and dominates everything, add clear "do not use when" language, so Claude knows when to stay out of the way. If execution keeps failing, simplify. Shorten the core instructions, push long explanations, and edge case docs into references. Keep the skill focused on the steps that must never be skipped. Once your skill works, shipping it is surprisingly simple. Zip the folder, upload it to Claude under Skills or Capabilities, and it's ready to use. Because skills follow an open standard, the same package can travel across Claude.ai, Claude Code, and the API. For public skills, host them on GitHub with a clear README and installation guide so others can install confidently. Think of this as your promotion from prompter to orchestrator. A skill isn't just code, it's your workflow captured as a reliable recipe. Instead of retyping the same guidance and hoping for the same result, you design the path once, then let Claude follow it every time. Your next move is simple. Pick the workflow you repeat the most, maybe sprint planning, weekly reporting, onboarding, or design handoff. Map the steps, encode them as a skill, and ship it. Start with that single workflow and build your first recipe today.